But to avoid this too big to fail problem, in your opinion, what else should be done with the legislation?
A predecessor of mine at the Treasury Department said, if banks are too big to fail, they're too big.
Okay. Okay.
So I think we need a policy in the United States over time, you don't do it immediately, but of limiting the size of banks so they aren't too big to fail.
Okay.
And you could establish a rule on mergers that if you're above a certain size, you're not going to be able to grow through mergers. You could have a rule that if you're above a certain size, you need to demonstrate why you're how society benefits from the fact you're as big as you are, answering the question, how much less efficient would you be if you were half your size? How many fewer innovations would you make if you were half your size? Now remember, the banks are critical. We need banks. We need them to be run well. They're the way we mobilize savings. They're the way we analyze lending risks. Ultimately, they're the way that we get interest rates set through the demand and supply for loanable funds, but they're also dangerous. Banks are really, really dangerous because when they blow up everything. And we'd be much better off in the world if we didn't have banks that were too big to fail. Now, if you're known to be a bank that's too big to fail, think about it wearing the hat of a finance person well-trained at a great business school like this. What's going to happen to your borrowing costs if the market thinks you're too big to fail? If you think I'm a borrower, I'm too big to fail, you're going to treat me pretty well. If you're an investor and you know that that investment can't fail, you're not going to demand as high an interest rate. It isn't as risky. And interest rates are correlated with risk. So if you're a big bank and you're too big to fail, you can get money on better terms. You can get lower interest rates. Well, that tilts the competitive environment much in favor of the too big to fail banks, which adds to the problem of too big to fail because they have a way to get bigger and bigger. They have lower cost of capital, which isn't a healthy thing. So we haven't, in my view, dealt with those fundamental problems of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac being able to subsidize mortgages, loans to buy a home, and we haven't dealt with too big to fail.
Okay.
So we've left big holes in the financial regulatory structure in the United States.
And so it seems the American people really still have a long way to go to think about how to solve these issues.